Saturday night. I don't see anybody posting up in here. If you guys are up in here, give me a thumbs up. See what's going on here. What's up, Raymond? Brad, what's happening? Hello to everybody. It's Saturday night. I think it's Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday. So, nice little 16 that I put together here and just talk about a little bit. I take and ask people kind of like, what do you like, what colors you like. You get to kind of pick two of them. Hold 1 second. But going back to this, I normally ask what colors you guys like, and I try to put together a nice, decent looking package for you guys. Obviously, I take a lot of my time and put a lot of thought into what I'm doing in every portion of this linear amplifier. So, yeah, there's mistakes here or there, flaws. I can see them. You guys may not. But with that said, I'm human. I'm not a machine. I'm not using machines to make what I have here. Some portions of it's being made, but you know, it's part of the process. But if you guys are going to do this, best advice is take pride in what you're doing. Don't just hammer jack something together and say, yeah, there you go, there's the watts. Yeah, you can do that. You can be proud of something, be proud of it. Even though a lot of people will never see the inside of this unit. That's the crazy thing. You're not looking inside your amplifiers all the time. This is truly a fancy paint mask, if you want to look at it that way. A mask for the copper to preserve the copper underneath. Now, if you guys one of those guys that just really hammer down on your boxes and you're getting them too hot, I'm telling you, it's not a good friendly thing to do. Heat kills these amplifiers, and I've done it. Personally, recently, I had a box at 24. I had to put new pills in it, but I'm not upset because I had something go really bad with that system, and I was able to correct it. And at the end of the day, it caused a lot of damage to my own unit, so I put new pills. I got brand new pistons in my 24. So we'll talk about that truck later. But for now, this is the 2024 HGCs, the 2879Cs. There hasn't really been any quote-unquote huge changes since they came out with the 22s, the 23s, and the 24s. There hasn't been a huge change. Yeah, there's some circuit changes that if you're pinching out the numbers, if you're not paying attention, you may or may not notice any difference. I take in and manage to take and notice differences all the time when I build these units, and there's two never alike at all. The tunes could be close, they could change from box to box. It just really depends on the era that you get the transistors. And a lot of guys, they go by the number that the factory's put on there, and there's nothing wrong with that. See, these are all 71s. You're not going to see that on an Atlas machine or an Atlas. It gives you a reference of what the HFEs are and such. You can kind of see it. You can do it with a diode meter as well. But anyway you want to work on a unit, it's you guys' own good or bad decisions. I have my ways. Everybody has their ways of doing it. So at the end, as long as you know that you're 110% sure that it's correct, then yeah, man, send that stuff out. Have a good time. Go talk some skip until you see the guy again, because he probably made another mistake. If you're blowing up amplifiers, you're making mistakes. It's either wrong coax phase angles, high standing wave will really kill one of these units quickly. So the Toshibas were really friendly to the point of they could tolerate a lot more reflection coming back to your main amplifier versus the HGs. They're not as tolerable. But one thing I'll say about the HGs is if you lose something somewhere, you gain something somewhere else. Well, the HGs are very rugged due to input drive levels. It really depends on the individual that built the unit or tuned the unit. But if you get your inputs really good, like any box in the world, AC or DC, the more efficiently that unit's going to run. And that's what it's about, the efficiency. So if you can take and drive the HGs a little harder than we commonly used to with the 2879 standard Toshibas, then yeah, the Toshiba gathered, it could hold back a little bit more reflection. It could handle it, where the HGs cannot. But in the same term is the Toshibas couldn't handle the drive as much as the HGs, or the HGCs, I should say. The 2879s, the standard ones, I kind of consider them like a 2290 Toshiba, a non-dot Toshiba. They're good transistors. The 2879C, I kind of compare that to what would be the Toshiba 2879. Now they're very compatible. They are not the same tune. So as far as wattages and amperages go, and current draw and efficiency, they're running neck to neck. And that's why we're able to take and go to competition like we do every year. And you have guys that solely love, and they're diehard Toshiba guys. Man, they're going to have a rude awakening when it takes and go over to the HGs and realize that they are compatible. They can run right next to the Toshiba box, beat the Toshiba box versus vice versa. The amplifiers are all primarily doing the same amount of power when we're in competition. Now, as far as average Joe talking skip, it's how brave you are and how good your system is. But to be able to take and handle what we do this stuff in competition, that really shines and proves that we have good amplifiers today. You just have to find the right person to take and trust and give your money to and build them a product that they enjoy. And they're going to be able to take and enjoy it for a long time until they start making mistakes. You only get like maybe 2 on these. And then after that, sometimes you have to rebuild them. And it is what it is. At the end of it, they leave here running and running really well. It's you guys as the end user has to take some responsibility, or I should say all of the responsibility, to take the knowledge and the abilities that I gave you to take and explain how to run this stuff and run it pretty much in the box. I'll show you a low level of drive all the way to a high level of drive. In fact, I need to change a little driver system over here real quick before I can show you a low level of drive. So this would be it's going to be a good test. If you guys want to hang out, I really appreciate it. Some people are in or out. I am transmitting on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously, and we're doing that platform that does both of them. That's really cool. All right, let me just change this out real quick. Leave that. Leave this. Unhook this. I'm gonna hook up my Texas Star, and we're gonna go through some little drive levels here. Just to show you, if you don't have all of the power, as far as drive power that you may or may not need, I'm going to keep this pretty much on the one power supply here. I'm not going to swap power supplies out today because the guy's capable of running where the voltage is where I'm going to be testing at. So we're going to run this test on pretty close to the same voltage as the guy that owns it. I think he might be 3/4 of a volt higher than me on my bench here, but it is what it is. All right, real quick, we'll take a look at the sluggy duggies here. Now, this was, and it's not something I do all the time, because normally when you ship these units out, you don't really want to have that line section. You don't really want to have that line section on there when you ship them. It's really protruding out. And 90% of the guys that had shipped their amplifiers to me for a repair with a line section connected to it, meaning bolted into the inside throughout, they take damage. So if you're going to install a line section, do it correctly. Second thing is, there's ways to do this where you don't have to literally ruin the line section, meaning solder the center pin into the line section. I don't know if you guys, that'll clear up or not. But regardless, that's this unit's not getting shipped. But I end up, just for support, I have these plates for Bird. They're from Bird, and I use them as a support plate, and I drive everything forward. And then I have dielectric grease on everything, ox guard, on every connection back here. So it's not going to corrode inside the box. We discussed that in the last video. And let me see. What the heck? There we go. So, real quick, line sections on here, it functions. I'm not going to run it in this test, but I did test it and it does function and work. So just to go on out, we're looking at a 2500 watt slug here as on the digital meter, and a 5000 watt slug, a 2500 watt slug on the analog, and a 5000 watt on the analog RMS and peak on that 5000. So peak is a great number. Now you guys got to understand that number is going to help you figure out how efficient your amplifier is actually running. And so if you take your amps times your volts, gives you a number. That number is your 100% peak number that you can achieve. So when you take and look at these numbers, when you hit the peaks on here, and then you take and do the calculation numbers, and then you can see how close you are and how efficient that you're running on the equipment. So that said, let's turn on the little Transistor. I have a 1000 watt slug down here and a 25 watt slug for input reflection. So let's turn on the little Transistor, crank it up about, I don't know, probably right around 50 watts or so. Put the lid on this real quick. Alright, we got power. Now, let me see how I want to do this. I'm going to take these glasses off. Get me a radio. Alright, so it's a 1000 watt slug. Radio's all the way down at minimum. 1000. Probably should change that out real quick. We'll put the 250 in there for this one. So each line will be 5 watts. And here's Transistor, low side, audio. That's only like 40 watts RMS. Let's turn it up a bit. Audio. Alright, there's 50 watts RMS. So let's see what 50 watts is going to bring us here on. Give me a carrier. Carrier's wide open. Alright, here we go. 50 watts of drive. Audio. See, I lost 10. Now I lost 5 just from the circuit. Audio input, a little over a watt. Here's the voltage real quick. Audio. 15.7. Here's 2500 watt slug, 16 pills. Low drive, audio. So that's 700. That's about 650, 700 watts. Let's look at the digital 5000. Audio. There's 650, 700. Bigger, tweaker, and a bigger, tweaker. Here you go. Bigger, tweaker. So I'm doing 2400 watts peak. And let's take a look at what the amperage was reading here. Audio. About 122, 123 amps. So there you go. That's that is a peaker tweaker's dream right there. Low drive, big time peak, and you got some. You got quite a bit actually. So moving on up, we'll just take and we'll just jump up to here, I guess, and see what we're doing on the 250 slug. Audio. Right about 80 watts of drive. So all right, here we go. 80 watts. 80 watts. Let me get a lighter up here just a little bit. Audio. About 1,000 watts there. Audio. 2,800 there. Let's see where we're at here. Audio. There we go. About 1,000 watts. So 2,800 peaker tweakers, man. You guys are really getting excited. But yeah, just playing around with it. Low drive, you can do it. And the amperage on this thing is, let's look at the amp meter here. Audio, 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 audio. 160, 163. Where we at here? Audio, 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 audio. Oh, pretty spot on. All right, so little Texas Star drive action. We'll just hit the last step real quick, and we'll get through this portion of it testing. Come on now. There we go. All right, let's see my drive level. Audio, 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 audio. That's about 120 watts of drive. Input reflection, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking good in the hood. Here's your voltage, audio, audio, audio. 15.5, here's your amperage, audio, 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 audio. 217, do the math on that one. Here's your peaker tweaker. Peaker tweaker, audio, audio, audio. 3100. And let's look at this. We forgot all about this little 5 kilowatt and the peaker side of it. 5 kilowatts, audio, 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 audio. So about 15 there. Go down here, let's look at that. RMS, audio, audio, audio. 1415, here's your peaker tweaker, 5000. Analog, audio, 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 audio. 2829. Looking good, looking good. All right. Nope, don't want that there. Try to shrink this. There we go. Let me switch drivers, guys. So not too bad for that little bit of drive going into this unit. Really seemed to make pretty decent power at that point. You know, you don't always have to have everything 110%. I know a lot of guys, they don't have enough alternators, but they have enough to help their lithium system, which helps the alternator and it gets it to work. It's pretty amazing with the technology. You guys just have to follow the rules on that stuff. So while I'm switching coax, let's talk about that really quick. The phase angles of this system is from my radio down to this driver here is a half a wavelength or 12 foot. And then from the driver to the 16, I'm running a quarter wavelength or 6 foot and slang. And it's 213 coax. So the VOP that I'm running is 0.66. So now we have that running. We left off somewhere right around 150, 60, something like that. We're going to pick that up a lot. And we'll turn on a little zippy. Disco 80 zippy. Alright, let's see who's up in here. What's up, Darwin? Dennis, what's happening? Oh, Red. Let's see what else we got up in here. Vincent's in here. Mickey, what's up? What's up, everybody? Roger, John. Alright, let's light this candle up. Let's see what we got now. Let's take a look. You guys see my radio drive's still right there. I'm probably going to keep it there for the whole test. Alright, let's just take and see what kind of amplifier we got here. Audio, 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 audio. So about 280 watts. Now, as you can see, I had no dead key. Turn that up a bit, see? Okay. Audio, 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 audio. So I said something about Deadkey. I'm going to talk about it real quick right now. And the guys say, where should I Deadkey my system at? And the way I explain it is, if your Deadkey is too low, it's going to sound like you're going 1,000 miles per hour. What is that sound? That is your amplifier literally oscillating, trying to maintain some sort of something of a carrier. So, yeah, I got a lot of audio, but you're really oscillating an amplifier, which could primarily just kind of mess things up. It's not a good idea to take and run, like, let's say, 200 or 100 watt carrier and then swing to 2,000 or 3,000 watts. It's just a bad mix. So the best way to take and run these are, you would say, let's say we just use a 2,000 watts as an example. Well, where should you set your carrier? Normally about half of RMS. So that'd be somewhere right around 1,000. You go 1,500, somewhere in there. 1,000 and 1,500, as low as probably 800. I wouldn't go too much lower than that. But just let it eat and let it swing and let it do its thing. A lot of times I don't do and show a lot of, I got a carrier level, this, it would really waste a lot of time in these videos. So by taking and doing what I'm doing, I'm not worried about increasing my power because I'll never have to go backwards to back something off or something's going to get exhausted from too much of a carrier. So that's why I do the things I do here. sometimes I don't worry about a carrier because I'm just doing a hit test. If you want to look at it that way, I'm just hitting this stuff, and that's the test. So let me set a carrier real quick, just something. And cut this meter off over here. Let's see. All right, good enough. Got a good carrier. Let's just load right into it. I don't really care about how much power is going across the bypass or anything like that. It's more important to me to see the actual usable wattage. It's actually being used. This is my driven wattage right here. Audio, audio, audio. I have the mic gain. All right. Audio, 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 audio. So I'm right at 280 watts RMS. Now, what would that peak be, just for a kick? I just want to show you guys. Audio, audio, audio. So I'm putting 1050 in peak at 280 watts in. So again, the peaker tweakers are sitting there just salivating, but it's all for waste. It's just something that tells you how efficient your stuff's running. So there you go. 280 drive in. Let's take a peek at the input reflection. Audio, 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 audio. Right under 2 watts. Let's take a peek at the voltage. Audio, audio, audio. 15.6, and here's your amperage at this level of drive. Audio, 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 audio. So 222, 226, and here is 2500. Audio, 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 audio. So anywhere between 16, maybe 1700 RMS on that meter. Let's look at the 5 kilowatt. Audio, audio, audio. Pretty true. All right, let's take a look at the peaker tweaker analog. Audio, 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 audio. So a little over 4 kilowatts there. Let's see what it is here. Audio, 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 audio. 43, 42, 4300. Not bad at all. Is that number going to change much here in the near future as I turn up drive? A little bit. Not much, a little bit. Because the only way you're going to be able to change that number is you're going to hit a max drive. And obviously we've seen a lot of peak out of this unit with a little bit of drive. I put a little bit more drive in there. We did see a little bit more peak because it wasn't quite full. Now, eventually you're going to max out of drive, and your RMS will increase, but your peak will not. Now you got to travel into that portion of climbing the ladder in RMS mode without snapping the pill. So know exactly how maximum drive that you can put in something. Sometimes it's not worth doing unless you're one of the shooter guys and you've blew up a lot of stuff to learn that lesson. And all of us, including me. I try to break this stuff, guys. I truly do, just for I will know exactly what is happening. It's really kind of important. So, with that said, I turned that up a bit. Let's take and see what we are on the drive, just for kicks, because I don't have no pointers on everything. Audio, 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 audio. All right, so there's 380. That's pretty cool. Let's run it there at 380. I'm going to increase just a little bit after that. Probably not too much more, because it's not really worth it. Let me get a carrier real quick. Somewhat of a carrier. All right. There's some audio. There we go. Audio, 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 audio. All right, 2 watts. 2500. Audio, audio, audio. A little over 2000. Let's look at the 5 kilowatt. Audio, 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 audio. A little over 2000. Let's look at the 5 kilowatt digital. Audio, 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 audio. 18, 19, somewhere in there. Let's look at the peaker tweaker. Tweaker and a peaker and a peaker and a peaker and tweaker and a peaker. Hit 44. Audio, 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 audio. Let's see what this one is, peak. And this is a peaker, tweaker, tweaker moment. Audio, audio, audio. Very good. So Michael, how are you? So the last portion of this, you guys can get out calculators, take pencil and write it down. Figure it out. Do the math on it. I'm not going to do it for you. All right, here we go. Let's look at the amperage. We'll look at the voltage. And then we'll look at the peak. All right, here you go. Amperage. Audio, audio, audio. 1, 2. I'd say about 276 with the voltage. Audio, audio, audio. 15.5. Here's your peaker, tweaker. Tweaker, peaker, audio, audio, audio. 44, 44.50, somewhere in there. So, Take your amps times your volts equals your peak. That'll give you a 100% number. Then look up that number and your percentages divided by whatever. So, let's take a look inside. It's running pretty good. It's got a great amp. Good build. Really happy with it. Just take a little temperature on it. Not the most accurate thing, but it works. Gives you an idea. Cruising at about 94 degrees. See, it gets a little cooler up there at the front, guys. Why? Because hot air is going that way. 94. 92. Got a glare. 92. Oh, looking good. The whole unit's just running. Not bad for over and over and over again testing. So, where did we leave off? Let's take a peek at the drive, working drive. 1,000 watt slug, each line's 20. Audio, 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 audio. 360 or so. Let's turn this up just a little bit. Get a kicker here. Audio. Okay. See where we're at here. Audio, audio. I don't know. Try that one. Audio, audio. 420. There you go, 5 kilowatt RMS. Maybe. There it goes. Audio, 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 audio. At 22. Here's your bigger tweaker. Audio, 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 audio. It's increasing slowly, so we're pretty much at the maximum current and voltage and drive. About 400 watts is about too much. Audio, audio, audio. And about 285, 289, somewhere in there. Seems to be pretty happy. So, if you take in, consider your drive every time you go into your truck, you know your voltage. Be sensible about it. Do you have an amplifier that can produce power and you can control it? I'm going to show you a little bit of control. That was about halfway. I ain't going to change my radio yet, but remember this thing's up here on that 14.9 power supply. Let me show you something real quick. 1,000 watt slug. These drivers are capable of getting up and going. Audio, 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 audio. So that was 580 at my radio, only at 12.4. Well, here, hold on, let me go back. Okay. Here's your peak on that. Audio, audio. All right, 1200. Here's your RMS here. Audio, 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 600 or so. So that's RMS, 600 watts. And now, RMS, audio, 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 750. Peak stayed pretty much the same. Audio, 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 audio. Audio, audio. Audio, audio. That's just a driver. That's turned up. That driver's getting it. As they all do. But people are like, why do you sell a 5-pill with a 16? Because it works really well. If you control it, or have a radio that don't get up and get it, you can always turn it back up to get it. Because the 3-pill, it didn't like this box. So if you got a 3-pill and you want to run it at 16, those are picky little boogers, man. They don't always like every box. They don't. So in fact, I'll explain what it did. I'm not going to hook it up because I just hate it. But when I keyed up, my input reflect went over here on a 25 watt slug at about 10 and it back all the way down. And that's really not a really good thing when they go that far over and back down. If they're just a little bit, it's one thing, but you're scaling. And that means that amplifier or jumper, and I tried multiple jumpers, that amplifier just did not like the 16. So 3 driving a 16 is really not the best idea. Sometimes guys will get lucky and they'll get them to work, but any way you cut it, kind of is what it is. So, well, you got, who are you? Hi, What's your name, Molly? Are you going to say hello to everybody? Molly? Well, come here. Come here. Come here, Molly. You hanging out tonight, Saturday night? Nose all messed up. We ordered some medicine? Huh? Yes. Yes. You going to wait, everybody? Molly. Hey. Ruff, ruff. Wake up. You going to wave? Molly. You going to wave to everybody? Come on, give me a wave. Come on, Molly. Give me a wave. What happened today? What did you do today with the babies? Did you hang out? You gonna talk to me? Ooh. Well, you got nothing for me. You haven't been on video in a while. Are you camera shy? You going Bobby Brady on me? Huh? Bobby Brady? What do you think? Uh-huh. Well, what? That's it? That's all I got on you? I know she ain't even feeling good. Her nose is all messed up. I ordered some stuff for her. But anyway, you cut it, guys. We can take in and build units and make them look presentable. Guys, they're doing great. Almost everything I see looks really good for the most part. But they're just not quite getting them to run like they should be running, or what they could be running as. And that's a big difference. I mean, aesthetically, a lot of guys are doing great. As far as functionability, you got a lot more work to do. And I'm not saying, I'm saying that as a general. We all have a lot of work to do on this. It changes, and if you're not on your game, you're going to miss the changes. Then you got a box that don't run the very, very best. But anyway, you got it. I do what I can, and I think I'm doing pretty decent at this one. So made some changes in these units, and as they progress and I get ready and I'm building other things, I have I got another school bus laying up here. I got a 5 over there I'm finishing up. I started that earlier, and just kind of and actually I got a 5 that goes with that school bus too. So that's going to be a bad boy right there. I'm looking forward to that build, and I'm working at it, but I'm going to put her in paint here, I think, here really soon. I started it the other day, and I got sidetracked, and I had to get some other things done. But with that said, Molly, come here. Give me a hug. Come here. Come on, give me a hug. Then you can say goodbye to everybody. Come on up here. Come on up here. You a good girl? Huh? Yeah, Molly. You going to say hello to everybody? Say, what's up? What's cracking? It's Saturday night, isn't it? Saturday night. Saturday night, Molly? Well, you want to go get Kitty or something? What's up? She is not feeling good, Molly. Molly, you not feeling good? You done? Yeah? You out of here? Over it? All right. Well, there you go, guys. Little red monkey. I don't know why I called this thing a red monkey. I guess because the monkey I have above him is red. And that was bought in Hawaii. Not this year, but last year. And the lady that sold it to me at the flea market says, oh, the bad monkey. Yeah, it's a bad monkey. And this one here, I think, will fall into that category. So there you have it. Nice little unit. Y'all, thank you for watching. Facebook has gotten a lot tighter rules nowadays, and they're only doing live streams for 30 days and they pull them down. But your video's not lost, because I'm also transmitting in YouTube, and they're being broadcasted there and being saved. They are saved under, not my general stuff, under my live videos. So if you go to my YouTube and you're looking for this video, for example, and you can't find it in my regular bulk stuff, it says videos, that's uploaded versions. Now this is all live stream, so they have another little spot. It says live stream videos or live videos. You should be able to catch up on all of the stuff I've been doing since I started with this platform, Prism. So there you have it. Molly, what do you want to do? We out of here? Gonna watch TV? Uh-huh. What you think? Come here. Come on, get excited. Do something, please. Say wave. Molly, come on, give me a wave. Give me a wave. That's a good girl. You gave me a good wave. Now what? Oh, you got a scratch on your nose because your button's all messed up, isn't it? Yes, your nose button's messed up. We'll get it fixed. See? Yeah, we'll get it fixed. We'll get it fixed. I don't know why it's like that, but it's like that. The little thin right there. I see it. Don't quit itching. Quit itching it. You gotta quit itching. Want to get the kitty? Yeah? You gonna get him? What color? The white one? The green one? Oh, there's no green kitties out there. You know that. The yellow ones. They all look the same to you? Huh? Come on. Let's go. Let's get to Kitty. She gone. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. God bless. Have a great weekend. Oh, you shut it off, man. There it is. Later.